And off we go today. So we're going to use a foam roller. I've got my medicine ball as well. Just going to show you some stuff with this. I bought this about 9-10 years ago. It was about a tenner for a local sports shop. Fantastic for rolling out your adductors, those inner thigh muscles. This works great. This just a wee bit better, so I'm going to show you how to use that as well. So we're going to focus on the corners of our hips and our inner thighs today. Give them a little bit of love. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's session. I'm definitely feeling that, which is great. So here we go. Actually, always looks super weird with socks on. I was keeping them on till the last minute because it's only 10 degrees in here. It's pretty chilly. But foam rolling, TFL. So let's discuss that quickly. It's the little muscle that sits just inside where your pocket is, right on the corner of your hip here. So it's not right on the front, and it's not right on the side. It's kind of like on the corner. You could almost sort of grip it. A lot of the time people think it's bone. That's not bone. It's just your TFL. It's really short and it's really dense and it's really hard. So we're going to do some work to try and release it. We're going to then try and activate those glutes again, those same ones as we done yesterday. And then we're going to do a little bit of work for the adductors as well, these inner thighs, because these tend to get really quite stiff. And when they do, they just limit our range of movement through the legs. So, dead simple with this one. It's not totally on your front and it's not totally on your side. It's about 3/4. And just give it a little bit of love. Go back and forwards on it. I've got my nice soft foam roller. I've had this one for, I bought it when I lived in London. I've only been there a while. I reckon I've had this about 15 years, this foam roller. It's seen a lot of action. I used to take it to the gym with me and sport events and things like that, just to help loosen a few bits and pieces off. And it's still firm enough that it does the trick, but it very rarely, if ever, causes me any discomfort. So it's just a bit more tolerable. So I'm getting all around the corner of that hip. As before, we're going to release this dense tissue first. One of the main reasons we're doing this is it can cause a bit of inhibition. So what does that mean? Well, it's stopping things to happen. It's inhibited. This in itself doesn't resolve the problem, but this combined with a couple of other things, once we've released it, activated something else, and do a bit of stretching it, can make quite a big difference. So just get all through the sort of front, side, corner of that hip. You can go up and down the way. Once you've done that, you can actually then go across the foam roller. So transverse frictioning. I usually save that for once I've gone up and down a little bit. So that's really feeling quite relaxed. Feeling much better. Down the thigh just a tiny little bit. Great. So now what we're going to do is stay on that. Oh, get a nice stretch. There we go. Get a nice stretch there as well. Stay on the same leg. I'm going to work on the adductor, the inner thigh, on the same side. So that's my right hip that I've just been rolling. Now into my right adductor. The way I usually start this is by sort of putting the leg over it here. Okay, so we're working at a kind of 90-degree perpendicular angle and just rolling side to side, getting it there. Up to you where you start, whether you start deep into the hip or if you want to start out at the knee. You'll probably notice that all of that is a bit nasty, a bit uncomfortable. So wherever you fancy starting, but we've got to work for the knee to the hip on this one. And in a second, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with the small ball, the medicine ball, just as an option in case you want to try something a bit different. So, like before, I'm going along the length of the muscle first, and then once I've done that, I'll apply my transverse frictions. Sometimes you've got to tweak the angle of the roller. As it comes higher up into the groin, you might need to actually put it at a wee bit of an angle, otherwise it kind of hits off the front of your pelvis. So just get it right up into there. You take as much weight through your body as you need to, so you can either have all your body weight going into the foam roller, or you can take some of it through your elbows and your knees and your toes. So then I'm going to do some transverse friction, so that means I've got to show it some love, up and down. Alternatively, move your leg up and down if you find the weight of your body is too much, then you can move your leg up and down. It's just really whatever you need to do to be able to hit the areas that we're trying to get into. So I'll go out towards the knee for a second. Because for me, that's an 8 out of 10, that. Great. You guys can keep going. I'm just going to quickly show you why I've got a ball. The ball allows it to move in all the directions all at once, and because it's a little bit smaller, whoa, it's amazing. If you go like with a tennis ball or a hockey ball, quite often you're not, like your hip isn't flexible enough to open out to get this low. So this is just a nice little alternative. And because you can kind of oscillate around with a circular motion, you're doing that lengthways and transverse all at the same time. I just find I can get into little areas that aren't accessible with the foam roller. So it's worth grabbing a football or a rugby ball, we do the same thing, and having a little go with that. Cool. So we've just released off the TFL and we've just released off the adductors. So sometimes this muscle here, when it's a bit stiff and a bit tight, it actually stops our abduction, because it's almost like a wedge in a joint. It's going to stop that joint from closing, because as that closes, it's sitting in there and it gets hard. So as you lift up, this tenses, stops the joint from opening further. These are short, so can't lift any further. So we've done these before, but we're going to pay special attention to them. So you can lay down, you can even put your head on your foam roller, all the rest of it, whatever's sort of comfortable for you. Bottom leg bent. This top leg, have it slightly back behind your hip, okay? Because that is going to turn the hip flexor off, the TFL off. Make sure that the toes are pointing down. We're going to be leading with the heel, and we're going to lift that leg up 10 times. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just relax. From here, we're going to jump onto our other side and do a quick stretch on it, and we're just going to repeat that a couple of times. So you can roll over if you want, but if you do the same thing on the other side, but you bring this top leg over and then sit up like that. You all get variants. Some of you guys are going to be on your elbow, some of you guys are going to be right up on your hand. If that's not enough, take your foam roller, pop your foot on it, and that will lift your foot up at the same time. You might feel it into your obliques as well, but you want to feel it primarily in here. So if you need to move around and turn that over a wee bit, that's fine. So just get a wee stretch through the inside, the outside of the leg this time. Not an area we've been stretching as much, but equally as important. Great. So a wee bit far, moving back through. Bend bottom leg, get comfortable. taking this top leg slightly back behind your hip, toes down, lead with the heel. Try and not move the pelvis too much, just lead with the legs. That's 10, 9, keep the leg back, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back onto the other side, guys. And let's get that stretch into that TFL. It's also a great stretch for your obliques and your quadratus lumborum, a muscle in your low back that can also get a bit tight and affect the range of movement around your hips and pelvis. That's pretty much what normally gives everybody the sort of stiff, tight, low back. There's some dysfunction around the pelvis, and then QL gets a bit tight. This is just a nice way to ease it off. You have seen some standard variations of this where you cross one leg over the other leg and you reach over to the side. I think this is better because you're able to sit into it, take your time. So we're only going to hold these stretches for a brief period. Great, and we're going to go again. I'm going to use that for my little pillow. So bottom leg bent, top leg, bring it back behind you a little bit. It doesn't have to be loads, but just back behind you a little bit. Toes down, lifting it up, 10, 9, keep it behind you, 8, 7, you should be feeling that here in your glute medius, glute minimus, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Fantastic. So all we're going to do is the same thing now, opposite side. So I'm going to jump back onto the foam roller, onto my TFL, left hip this time. Just the same process. Find that little spot, and just in the sort of front corner of your pocket. I like to go up and down first, cross side to side next, and then if I can, I'll do some sort of circular action on it. We can, of course, like we've done in the past, do some trigger point releases where we find a really tense tender point, just sit on it, leave it there for a minute or two, let it relax off. It's just another technique that we can use. My main thing at the minute is just some sensory input, confuse it a little bit, see if we can change it if it's inhibited, stretch out a little bit, activate it a little bit, or activate some of the opposing muscles rather. And for some of us, not only will this help reduce some of that stiff, achy, tight lower back stuff, it's also going to help us allow us to open that hip further. It's acting like a bit of a wedge in the door and blocking it. So play around. Feel free to do a wee trigger point release if that floats your boat. If you find a spot as you roll over, it's kind of lighting you up. I'm not getting any today, so I don't really have to do any. But if you're getting them, just sit in that spot. Nice relaxed breathing. Let it relax before searching for another one. And you can really spend as long as you like doing the foam rolling, but I find 2 minutes, each muscle, get a bit of stretch, get a bit of activation going is kind of enough. And you want to do one side and then the other. So I'm going to go into transverse now because I was just feeling like it had all freed up. So I'm going to cross the way. For me, this left one feels loads nicer than the right. Not sure why, it just does. Just working up and down as I go side to side. go. I'm going to roll on to the other side so that I can get the adductor. Bring my ball over. So it's ready. Here we go. Up to you where you want to start again. I'm going to start around about the middle. And just go along the length of the muscle initially. A bit of heat in there as well. Feels nice. Work a little bit closer towards the knee, where those adductors come down across over the knee. Along this one, on that group of 5. You're also kind of just catching some of the inside of the quad muscle there. Tends to be a bit of a tender spot. Right, I'm going to do a transverse now, so I'm going to go up and down, showing some love again. This is maybe one that you don't necessarily want to do in the gym. Do it in the privacy of your own home. Unless you're that guy, there's always one guy in the gym humping a foam roller. I don't know which one of you it is, but I bet it's one of yous. You guys are thinking, I bet it's Graham. Yeah, it usually is. So I'm not getting into that any further with my foam roller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that ball again. And right away, yeah, I'm just able to get in a little bit deeper. That kind of circular action. If I want, I can move the leg round about it. There's no right or wrong here, guys. Just move it around to find whatever you got going on there. Definitely a little bit more sensitive through my left adductor and my right TFL. So there's maybe something most likely going on around my hips and pelvis with some muscular imbalance, because those muscles are going to work together, left adductor and right TFL, to stabilise my pelvis, and then the opposing is probably going to lower foot, or just however I'm displacing my weight between my left and right foot. It's quite common that people will put more weight through one side than the other. It might be that I've got a preference for jumping or kicking or something like that, and you've just got more going on. This is my standing leg predominantly for when I kick. My right leg is the predominant kicking leg, so it might maybe make sense that hip flex and hip adductor on my right, which is going to do more of the kicking action, is a bit more overworked. And then this adductor is kind of stabilising my hip and pelvis quite a bit when I've got a single leg. So it may just be that. Great, so I'm going to pop that out of the way. Grab my roller back in. So the key here is bend that bottom leg. We want to take this leg ever so slightly back behind our hip so that we're working more of the glute medius, helping us turn off the TFL. You can rest your head again. Try not lift too much with your pelvis. We're just going to lift that leg. So here we go. 10, 9, feel it back there. 8, 7, 6, push it back as well. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, one. Then what I've got to do is come over the other side. I'm just going to use the foam roller right away. Cross that leg over. In fact, I'm not. It's going to be too deep. I can feel it already. So I'm just going to go in here. I'm just going to get a bit of stretch. Again, obliques, QS, QL into the lumbar area, but primarily I'm going to try and look and target that TFL. If you need to be down on your elbow, just stay down on your elbow. If you feel as though you can't get your body up because it's so tight here, but you're not getting enough through the lower portion, pop your foam roller in, or up onto the footstool or on your sofa or whatever, and just create a sort of banana bow shape through your body. I want to get into there. Brilliant. Back into my lifting. Well, that's the only thing with this session, it's a bit confusing. So bottom leg bent, head resting, you can have your hand, cushion, whatever, toes down, leg back behind the hip. Try and move the pelvis. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. Goes up and back. Over on this side again. Just doing a nice deep breath there, relax into it. Great. Spill around. If you want, you can just roll over left to right and just make sure it faces the camera. So as we lift up, guys, make sure you push back at the same time. So one of the things I think of is if I was looking down my leg, and this point right here is 12 o'clock, I've got 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I'm kind of trying to pull my leg up, but also backwards to sort of like between 10 and 11 o'clock in the clock face. If the clock face was down there, let's give that a go. 10, 9, foot here, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Brilliant. Last little stretch. So you don't need to worry too much about how high you're lifting that. It's more just about getting into the right position, hitting the right muscle. But also at our session yesterday, we worked on that glute medius minimus area quite extensively. So it's going to be a little bit sort of tired anyway. Fantastic. Right, little thing just to finish up, we're going to do a quick release again for the adductors now. So we're going to go into our frog position, one leg out, one leg in. And all we're going to do is we're going to push this foot down into the floor. If you want to make that a little bit more effective, what I do is I take this hand off, same hand, same foot. What it does is I'm not supporting myself, so it just makes me work a little bit harder. Up to you how hard you press. I'm going to go for a moderate one to hard. We're going to do 3 sets of 10 on this. So squeezing down, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to support. Breathe, relax, sit into it a wee bit further. Squeezing down again, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Support. Breathe. Sitting into it. That also builds strength, that contraction as well, remember guys. Okay, third and final one, squeezing down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Support first, breathe in and out. Try and get a little bit wider there. Great. Change sides. Downside of this mat that I've got here is it's super sticky. I can't actually get the slide that I want to be able to get out a little bit wider, but here we go. So taking that hand off, pushing down, 10, 9, 8, squeeze in with this leg as well if you like, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, support, breathe. Then let it go out a little bit further. Okay, squeezing in, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Support, and I breathe. A bit wider. I should say, guys, if you want to do this on your elbows, if you want to be down here, you can do the exact same thing down there. As you guys know, I get a better result being up on my hands. Third and final one, squeezing in both sides, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Give yourself some support, breathing in and out. And then sitting further into a little stretch just for 10 seconds or so to finish up. Excellent, guys. Bring those legs in. And we're all done for today. Good effort, well done. Let's see how the team got on.